Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Thursday, October 20th, 2022, and giving you parlay picks, match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Our first parlay pick is New Orleans plus 1.5 points. New Orleans opened the season with a 27-26 win at Atlanta, but it has proceeded to lose 4 of its next 5 games. The Saints are coming off a 30-26 loss to Cincinnati last week, despite taking a 23-14 lead midway through the third quarter. They allowed 9 consecutive points in the final 4 minutes of the game, including a game-winning touchdown pass from Joe Burrow to Ja'Marr Chase with 1:57 remaining. New Orleans was playing without starting quarterback Jameis Winston for the 3rd straight game. Backup Andy Dalton completed 17 of 32 passes for 162 yards and 1 touchdown in the loss to Cincinnati. Arizona has been one of the biggest disappointments in the league so far this season, losing 4 of its first 6 games. The Cardinals have mixed in wins against the Raiders and Panthers, but they are coming off consecutive losses to Philadelphia and Seattle. They gave up 12 consecutive points in the middle portion of the game and were unable to score an offensive touchdown in the game. Arizona's lone touchdown came on a fumble recovery in the end zone on a blocked punt in the third quarter. Quarterback Kyler Murray completed 23 of 37 passes for 222 yards and an interception, while also leading the team with 100 rushing yards on 10 carries. However, he also fumbled twice, losing one of them. The Cardinals ranked 8th in the NFL in offensive yards per game last year, averaging 373.6. They have struggled to get going this year, ranked number 16, 346.0. Murray should get some help this week, as star wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins is expected to return after serving his 6-game suspension. Hopkins had 42 receptions for 572 yards and 8 touchdowns in 10 games last season. Former Baltimore wide receiver Marquise Brown has a team-high 43 catches for 485 yards and 3 scores this year, but he landed on the injured reserve after suffering a foot injury. They are facing a New Orleans defense that ranks number 17, allowing 342.8 yards per game. I want no part of backing this Arizona team that cannot seem to find a rhythm this season, especially now that it will be without Brown offensively. The Cardinals have lost 8 consecutive home games and have gone 3-9 in their last 12 games overall. They have only covered the spread 4 times during that stretch, so they are overrated in the betting market. New Orleans has won 5 of the last 7 meetings between these teams, and the Saints have covered at an 8-3 clip in the last 11 games. They could get their starting quarterback back on the field, giving me another reason to back New Orleans. Our second parlay pick is New Orleans Saints vs Arizona Cardinals. Under 45 points. The Saints followed up their win over the Seahawks with a loss to the Bengals in their last game. They will try to bounce back from the loss with a win over the Cardinals, which will give them their 2nd win in their last 3 games. New Orleans is averaging 23.5 points per game. They are throwing for 230.8 yards and rushing for 151.5 yards per game. Andy Dalton completed 53% of his passes for 162 yards and 1 touchdown in the loss to the Bengals. Alvin Kamara had 19 carries for 99 yards, while Tre'Quan Smith had 3 catches for 43 yards and 1 touchdown. New Orleans has struggled defensively, giving up 26.8 points per game. They gave up 30 points in their last game and will need to do a better job if they want to get the win. The Cardinals followed up their win over Carolina by losing their last 2 games. They will try to put an end to their losing streak with a win over the Saints, which will give them their first home win of the season. Arizona is averaging 19 points per game. They are throwing for 226.7 yards and rushing for 119.3 yards per game. Kyler Murray completed 62% of his passes for 222 yards and 1 interception in the loss to the Seahawks. He also led the team with 10 carries for 100 yards, while Zach Ertz led the team with 7 catches for 70 yards. Marquise Brown, who had 5 catches for 68 yards, suffered a season-ending injury in the loss. The Cardinals traded a 6th-round pick in 2024 and a 7th-rounder in 2025 for former Carolina wide receiver Robbie Anderson on Monday. Arizona has played well defensively, giving up 23.7 points per game. They gave up 19 points in their last game and will need a similar effort if they want to win this game. The Saints are averaging 23.5 points per game and 22 points per game on the road. They averaged 32.6 points per game in their last 3 games against the Cardinals. They run the ball very well, and the Cardinals have been unable to stop the run recently, so expect them to hit their average in this game. The Cardinals are averaging 19 points per game and 16.7 points per game at home. They averaged 27 points per game in their last 3 games against the Saints. They run the ball well, and the Saints have been shaky against the run, so expect them to hit their average as well. However, it won't be enough to push the score over the total. Our third parlay pick is New Orleans Saints vs Arizona Cardinals. Marquez Callaway over 28.5 player receiving yards. Chris Olave is expected to play, but Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas, and Adam Trautman are out. Callaway has started 2 of the last 3 games and hit this line in both starts. In those 2 starts, he saw 6 and 7 targets with an average DOT of 14 yards. The Cardinals are in the middle of the pack in terms of allowing 20-plus yard receptions. This is essentially 3 receptions for Callaway in a game where he is the number 2 wide receiver and could be playing from behind. This is a play from me.